Ria nodded thoughtfully. The two of them had already entered the Jones family residence by now. Ria has been staying in the Jones family residence and had no intention of leaving. After all, she didn't even know where to go even if she were to leave. It was comfortable here, and after confirming the relationship with Samuel, she has even less reason to leave, though she still felt a bit awkward at times. Aura is quite convenient, Ria muttered, but even if she knew the advantage of aura, Ria had no intention of learning it nor even tried to, because she knew very well that her physical strength might be strong, but it was all achieved through using runes and mana to stimulate her muscles and so on. It was completely different from warriors who trained hard on their own and could control their bodies perfectly, thus allowing them to produce the so-called aura. Aura could be said to be the manifestation of their physical strength once they reached a certain rank. Yet at the same time, not everyone was qualified to learn it. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been so difficult for people to become warriors. Without sufficient talent, it would be impossible for others to become a warrior and achieve some results. "Are you jealous?" Samuel asked with amusement. "A bit." Ria looked at Samuel helplessly. "If I have aura, I wouldn't have to worry so much about my physical strength and so on." But Ria will never regret the decision that she had made before. The path of a Runemaster is the most suitable paths for her. Even though studying and researching runes could be said to be a very tiring job, Ria felt that it was worthwhile. "Let's cook something for us to eat." The two of them often spent their time in the crack and eat whatever was available. Runemaster could gain energy from their meditation, and the need for food had decreased while magic warriors were just like warriors. Eating food that contained a lot of mana could help them to recover. In this way, the two of them didn't pay that much attention to their food needs. But now that they were back in City Base, there would be nothing wrong for them to pay more attention to it. The improvement above rank 7 would be far slower. They also had to figure out their own paths because they didn't have any experience in walking through this path. Who could reach rank 8 first remained unknown. But none of the returnees were willing to give up. Rank 7 is not the end for them. There was still a long and bright path awaiting them in the future. "That's right, your cooking is pretty good." Ria remembered the time when they were trapped in the dormitory and Samuel was the one who cooked for them. After all, Ria was an average chef and Amelia was even worse. The two of them were prepared to live a hard life when they were staying in the dormitory. But Samuel's appearance made them elated. His cooking was really good. Samuel chuckled when he saw the greedy look on Ria's face. "Order something, my little princess?" "I'm not a princess," Ria protested and then thought for a moment. "How about some vegetable soup and fried tofu? I'm tired of eating meat." Just thinking about how they were only eating magic beasts' meat for a long time in the past, Ria felt her tongue protesting. There was almost no other variation when eating in the past, and they only paid attention to the rank of the magic beasts and whether it was the kind that could be eaten. As for the taste, just add some salt and other barbecue sauce and condiments. There was no time to really care about the taste. Sometimes there was even the fishy smell of blood, but the two of them still swallowed the food without complaining. Because it was too troublesome to cook when there were so many magic beasts waiting for them nearby. Occasionally, Ria would teleport them to a relatively safe place and the two of them would start cooking and resting for a while. The distance to the surface was a bit far and teleportation formation would need more mana to teleport them to a long distance. So the two of them just make do with what was available. Anyway, it was not necessary to go back to City Base when they were still busy fighting against the magic beasts and exploring the crack. Ria also noticed that the green planet and the crack was considered two different dimensions. Because of this, the amount of mana she has to use every time when using the teleportation formation increased. "Alright, I'll also cook some rice, alright?" "Yes, da." Waiting in the living room alone would be boring. So Ria headed to the kitchen and sat on the counter. The kitchen in the Jones family residence was really big and there was more than enough space to move around. Even if Ria were to use one of the counter as her seat, it would not affect Samuel. There were many other counters that he could use. "The Jones family is really rich," Ria muttered. Whenever she came here, she would be reminded that the Jones family was really rich and completely different from her. Though, in a way, Ria didn't care that much because she has enough money for her own living expense. And that was enough. I remember that you earn a few millions of green coins in the past? Samuel remembered that when he investigated Ria through his family's channel, he found out that she earned quite a lot of money. The source seemed to be the program that she wrote. Ah, yeah, but it's just a small amount of money compared to you, Ria replied helplessly. This mansion alone cost billions, and Ria felt that it would be impossible for her to get it in her entire life. After all, Ria knew very well that she had no ability to earn so much money. Rather than having an unrealistic dream, it's better for her to be content with her life and lived a happy and comfortable life. Well, that plan was thwarted after her experience in that world and coming back to this world. She was actually prepared to live in a seclusion and rarely came out because Ria didn't want to face her shameless family again. Besides, with the mana concentration on the green planet at that time, reaching rank 7 within 10 years would be a pipe dream. She might have some talent and also experience. But if there was not enough resources, having talent alone would be far from enough. Otherwise, there wouldn't be so many talented people who died without having their talent fully developed to the full potential. Without enough resources and chance, they lost the chance to truly develop. Ria didn't have such a lofty dream in the beginning. Everything changed after entering that world and seeing a completely different world. She didn't want to stand on the bottom all the time and suffered from being pushed around by other people. Having her life controlled by other people in such a dangerous world is not something that Ria wanted. Otherwise, she would not have tried every way to start practicing. And it was through various searches that she finally managed to obtain the methods to become Runemasters and discovered her talent. As for making money, Ria had long realized that she had no talent to become a businessman. You don't have to compare to me. I have the privilege to experience training ever since I was young and my starting point is higher. When I start business, my family will give me preferential treatment so that I can succeed, Samuel replied while measuring the rice on the scales to measure it. There were only 2 people who would eat and he had no plan to cook for his brother and sister, so he didn't bother cooking too many. Those 2 could just buy food. As for his parents, he was absolutely sure that his mother would have long prepared food for his father. He didn't want to disturb their 2 people's world, so he would not take too much food. Have you been designated as the heir of the Jones family for such a long time? Ria was curious about another thing. Amelia had once mentioned that Samuel is the heir of the Jones family, while she's the little princess of the Jones family. It was because of this status that Amelia could play around without the need to worry about anything. She even performed the play of running away from home several times. During the time when Ria had known Amelia, the other party had already run away from home more than 5 times. The reasons were always different. But Amelia never actually ran away for long except for the time when Samuel started urging her to practice. The delicate young miss of the Jones family really couldn't stand the intense practice intensity that her older brother wanted to put her through. You can say so. Samuel thought about his childhood and smiled helplessly. Mr. Jones and Mrs. Jones would naturally train their children to be their successor, and as the first child, Samuel was naturally chosen. Before his 2 younger siblings were born, he was the one who had to face his father and mother to practice various things. When he was older, he was once asked whether he wanted to inherit the Jones family or not. But for Samuel, it was his parents' wishes, so he didn't mind fulfilling it. Because while he was not very interested in business, he did have talent in it, and since his 2 siblings were not interested to be the heir, Samuel was basically fulfilling his own responsibility. Whether he wanted it or not didn't really matter. He only did it because it was his duty. It was only after he came back from that world did Samuel request for his father to select his siblings to become the heir of the Jones family. Because he clearly sensed that it was impossible for him to inherit the family's business. He had a goal that he wanted to achieve, even if it meant betting with his own life. But I'm no longer the heir of the Jones family by now, Samuel added as he continued to cook. My father should be eyeing either one of our descendants, including Amelia's. After all, Arnold's parents were no longer here and technically, he was marrying into the Jones family. He had talked about this with Arnold before and the young man didn't mind. Arnold didn't have any affection towards his family members, and for him, this arrangement was actually very good. Anyway, he didn't see any disadvantage of it. You're really carefree. Ria couldn't help but laugh when she heard Samuel's words. She had the feeling that Mr. Jones should be quite desperate when he heard that his children all refused to inherit the family's business one by one. After all, Mr. Jones had long trained Samuel. But since there was a force majeure that caused Samuel to be unable to become the heir of the Jones family, he could only try to ask his second and third child. Well, Amelia was impossible. She will definitely refuse from miles away. Besides, Amelia's temperament is not very suitable to be the heir of a big family with heavy responsibility and so on. Sean should still has a chance at first, but he gave up on his own because he didn't like this path. It can't be helped. Samuel saw Ria laughing and stepped closer. He rubbed Ria's cheek and pinched it lightly, making her stop laughing. Seeing the woman's glare and her beautiful eyes that reflected his figure, Samuel laughed back in response and lowered his head. Brother! Sean, who had returned to take some food, was stunned when he saw Samuel and Ria, especially when he saw their posture. At this moment, Sean was just thinking that he should not be here. Cough. Samuel could only move himself away from Ria, who had raised her hand to push him away and looked at Sean coldly. He felt that his brother came back at the most terrible time possible. Can't he wait at least a few more seconds? An unsatisfied man's ire is not something that could be handled by ordinary people. At least, Sean felt chills on his back when he saw his brother's eyes. Ah, I'm heading in the wrong direction. You continue, brother. With that, Sean directly turned around and ran away as far as possible. His older brother is too scary. He felt that he would be skinned alive if he dared to stay behind. That brat. Samuel sneered when he saw Sean running away. He would make a detailed training plan for Sean and let him train all day long. That way, there would not be any possibility of Sean disturbing him. Ria couldn't help but laugh when she saw the dark clouds hovering above Samuel's head. She was sure that if Sean had been a few seconds late, Samuel would beat up his brother without hesitation. Samuel looked at Ria helplessly and then heard the sizzle from the pan. He quickly turned around and take care of the food. As for Ria, let him deal with her later too. Ria smiled happily as she watched Samuel cooking and her eyes following behind his movement. People who have experienced the despair of wars and countless life and death's battle definitely knew the preciousness of this peaceful life. Even though it was really ordinary, not many people in that world could experience it. And after the end of the world, the green planet was also the same. City A base was built in order to protect this peaceful life. Ria had to say that she didn't have such high level of consciousness like those soldiers and couldn't bet her entire life for the sake of others. But she didn't want to see the green planet be destroyed, so she will still try to figure out a way to deal with those magic beasts. At least she still wanted to have a home. A real home where she truly belonged. Instead of living by herself all the time and having no one who cared nor even remember her. While Ria and Samuel were eating together, Sean ran away with fear and directly headed to the nearest convenience store to buy the snack that he wanted. Because the one who wanted to eat is his girlfriend. It was just a simple snack and the chef in the Jones family usually had some prepared, so Sean thought that he could go home and took it. Who would have thought that he ended up walking directly on the scene where his older brother and Ria were flirting with each other. Sean felt despair when he thought about it. His brother wouldn't think about killing him in the near future, right? Just thinking about it made Sean's body felt cold. He really couldn't imagine it. Sean? Why are you standing in front of the convenience store? Reuben was heading to the Jones family residence and saw Sean standing in front of the convenience store with a complicated look on his face. This made him wonder whether Sean was fine. Did something happen around Sean recently? Sean's life was very ordinary these days. Aside from helping City A base to deal with the magic beasts tied some time ago, he spent most of his time staying with his girlfriend in the hospital. Moreover, Sean was not the kind of person who will offend others easily and had received good education from the Jones family, so it was rare to see Sean in this appearance and state. Ah, Reuben, it's nothing. Sean shook his head. What if he mentioned the matter of himself interrupting his big brother in front of Reuben? Sean was afraid that Samuel would never forget this matter and ended up increasing his punishment. He was sure that Samuel will definitely take revenge later, and he was already thinking about the possibility of running away. Unfortunately, Sean felt that it was absolutely impossible for him to run away in front of his older brother's strength. "Are you sure?" Reuben frowned. "Yes, yes." Sean nodded his head like chicken pecking rice and quickly changed the conversation. "Don't worry about it. Why are you here, Reuben?" "I'm going to see Samuel," Reuben replied. There was a new report that he wanted to talk with Samuel, and it was more convenient to talk in person, so Reuben decided to come here. In that case, you should go quickly." Sean hesitated for a moment before deciding to sell Reuben out without hesitation. If Reuben also disturbed Samuel and Ria's time, then his older brother's firepower would be directed at Reuben, right? In that case, he could escape safely. Thinking about this, Sean immediately felt that he was really smart. As long as someone else can bear his older brother's anger, then he would not have to suffer so much. But Reuben narrowed his eyes when he saw Sean's enthusiastic appearance. Coupled with the desolate look that Sean showed just now, he could guess what had happened. It was nothing more than Sean provoking Samuel again. How did Sean provoke Samuel? There were several options and it didn't matter, but the most important thing is that if Reuben recklessly go to see Samuel, there was a high possibility that he would also provoke Samuel. What a naughty brat. "Oh, it seems that I better wait for a while before reporting." Reuben didn't hesitate to send a message to Samuel, asking about his availability. Upon seeing that Samuel arranged for him to meet in a few hours, he turned around without hesitation. Who would want to disturb Samuel knowing that the other party might be provoked? Sean was stunned when he saw Reuben's action and quickly called over. "Wait, didn't you have to see my brother? He's free right now." "Sean, your acting skill is worse than 3-year-old children." "Ah, and if you want to get beaten up, don't drag me into it." "How do you know?" The two of them quarreled on the street, and Samuel, who was still in the Jones family residence, looked outside speechlessly. The convenience store that Sean visited was not that far away from the housing areas for the sake of convenience. Besides, Samuel's senses have been greatly enhanced after his advancement, so it was really easy for him to hear Sean and Reuben's words from his home. It was just, what the hell are these two people doing quarreling on the street? They're really lively. Ria held her hand in front of her mouth, muffling her laughter. She felt that Samuel's friends were really amazing. There wouldn't be any boring days with them around. Samuel looked at Ria helplessly and sighed. Just ignore them. He felt that all of his face was lost when mentioning Reuben and Sean. Thankfully, Ria had already known about Sean and Amelia's childishness for a long time. As for Reuben, forget about it. That guy was indeed a living treasure when he was not serious and they were not doing their work. He had been trying to maintain his image in front of Ria because she's his teacher, but it seemed that this was not working. "The food is ready," Samuel said, distracting Ria from the performance of those two outside. At the same time, he secretly increased the training plan that he made for Sean. It seemed that he was too kind to his brother, who even wanted to pit his friend to disturb him and Ria. That annoying brother is really bad. Ria tried her best to restrain her smile and nodded. Okay. It's better for her to keep some image for Samuel too. Just looking at him trying hard to calm down, she knew that he was not as calm as he looked like on the surface. It was quite fun. Outside, Reuben and Sean quarreled until they were almost out of the residential areas. There would be more people on the street later, and the two of them didn't want to make a joke in front of so many people. Even though most of the people in City Base had been going out to kill more magic beasts, there were also those who stayed behind and had been staying in City Base. If they lost their images in public, Mr. Jones will scold them. Sean was absolutely sure that he would have to endure the torment from both his father and brother. It was truly not worth it. He refused to make troubles that he knew will only bring him even more inconveniences. What the hell are those two doing? Amelia saw Reuben and Sean almost fought near the gate of the household community. Even though those two people often made trouble with each other, She rarely saw them lost control so much like that. One of them should have provoked the other party, Arnold said without hesitation. Considering the attributes of these two living treasures, Arnold would not have any doubt that they could absolutely do this. After all, the two of them really like to make trouble. The two of them would not be surprised if these two people did make trouble for some reasons. After all, it wouldn't be the first time. Tsk. My brother is really idle. Amelia rolled her eyes. Her younger brother was indeed at the age where he was really lively and energetic. His appearance during this period of time just made Amelia want to beat him up a few times. After all, the two siblings were indeed not compatible. If it was not because Sean was busy to spend time with his girlfriend while Amelia was busy dating with her boyfriend too, the two of them might have long fought against each other a few times just for the sake of it. Let's not disturb them. Where shall we go next? How about the market? There are a lot of people hunting the scattered magic beasts during this period of time. If they are not satisfied with the normal exchange trade, they could only go to the market. We can collect some that correspondent to our elements, Arnold suggested. His and Amelia's elements were completely different, so when they collected the magic beast's cores, they would keep quite a lot of them. Those that didn't match would be submitted to the base in exchange for contribution points. Speaking about contribution points, the price of some things had increased in the recent months. After all, most people's living condition had indeed improved. Good idea. Amelia's eyes lit up. I can also use these magic cores to exchange for some talisman with Ria. Asking for things without paying anything would be rude. Even though Ria is her best friend, Amelia didn't want to take advantage of the other party, so she would give some magic cores to Ria. Anyway, Ria also needed those high-ranked magic cores for some reasons. Okay, Arnold agreed readily. It was only the next day when Amelia met with Ria because when she came back, Ria was meditating in her room and Samuel was also resting. These two people were quite tired after fighting against the magic beasts. Amelia didn't have the heart to disturb them, so she only came to Ria in the morning and Ria silently handed over a stack of various useful magic scrolls. These magic scrolls were all rank 4 and above, which would be useful for Amelia who was already rank 5. Wow, they're really cool, Ria. Amelia was so happy that she hugged Ria tightly. This is the best gift for her. On the side, Samuel and Arnold watched quietly while drinking their coffee. In terms of status, they had the feeling that they were not as good as Amelia to Ria or vice versa. It seems that I have to work harder, Arnold muttered to himself. Samuel rolled his eyes when he heard Arnold's words. She only has eyes for you, but you better treat her well. The fact that Amelia has a crush on Arnold was not a secret to Samuel. In fact, not many people didn't know. When this matter was told directly in front of Amelia, the latter blushed fiercely and was extremely shy about it. After all, she didn't expect that so many people would know about her secret adoration. Later on, Amelia was simply being open about it and didn't bother to hide in the slightest bit. Except when she was in front of Arnold directly. But it seemed that there was no longer any need for her to hide such a thing anymore. After all, she had already managed to start a relationship with Arnold and the two of them were so sweet together. I will, Arnold smiled. But I think you're the one who need to put in more effort. No other people will date others while fighting. To be honest, when he heard from Reuben that Samuel said he was dating in the crack, Arnold was utterly speechless. Thinking about how many magic beasts were there in the crack, he even wondered if these two people would have time to spend with each other aside from fighting when they were there. It was truly an inexplicable date. But at the same time, Arnold also understood that it was really necessary for Samuel and Ria to enter the crack and deal with the magic beasts there. Otherwise, they couldn't imagine how many magic beasts will come out and kill countless people. Humans were not ready to face such a thing. At least they were not ready yet. For the inevitable battle that will break out in a year and a few months, humans have already slowly starting to make preparations, because they had heard that this would be worse than the earthquake that happened before. I know. Samuel drank the coffee silently. He knew that the date he planned was not as much as date as work. Because the two of them were both returnees, they knew the importance of strength and time much more than others. Besides, He could see the same aspiration to be the strongest from Ria's eyes when he communicated with the other party. This allowed Samuel to understand that, for the two of them, wasting time on other matters were unnecessary. Otherwise, they would not have spent so much time inside the crack. Other returnees also explored the outer side of the crack on their own, making sure that they managed to obtain the resources that they needed. Even if they did relax from time to time, most of their time was used to manage their time in order to achieve their goal faster. Samuel was sure that when Ria reached rank 7, the other returnees definitely heard about this matter. They would redouble their efforts so that they could reach rank 7 as the second one. Because he knew that he did. Being overtaken by others, even if it was only for a brief moment, was not exactly a pleasant matter. "You said that you know, but you don't seem to be thinking of changing," Reuben complained as he stepped forward. Then again, as a single dog, Reuben had no experience in coaxing girls, so he couldn't really comment on Samuel's treatment of using crack as their date's location. He didn't think that the crack would be more interesting than many other places. Samuel looked at Reuben speechlessly but had no intention of explaining. After all, the matter of returnees was not something that he wanted to explain to countless people either. There was a limit to how much he was willing to share. "I think the more important question is why you're all in my house so early in the morning," Samuel said coldly. They had just finished breakfast and these two people suddenly came in and disturbed him. Then again, with Amelia here, he couldn't exactly have a two-people's world with Ria, so adding more people didn't actually make a difference. But it was still unpleasant to see them suddenly coming. "I'm just here because I have an appointment with Amelia," Arnold said quickly and took a step back. "Don't worry. I'll leave once she's done talking with Ria and playing together. I don't understand what the girls are talking that could last for hours." The other two, they couldn't say that they understand either. "I'm here for the work report." The magicians from the Magic Association submitted a request to enter City A base yesterday, but Mr. Jones refused. "Now they decided to come again today," Reuben replied. This was what Reuben planned to talk with Samuel yesterday. But because of Sean's experience and seeing how miserable that young man looked like today, Reuben was extremely glad that he trusted his instinct and didn't disturb his boss two people's world. Yes, he managed to find out the truth through Sean. Because Sean was urging him to intercede with his brother, saying that he will definitely not disturb Samuel and Ria's world. Reuben, one is his boss and the other one is his teacher. So Reuben decisively refused Sean's request and instead sent Sean to the training grounds before running away. Anyway, that brat really had bad intention. He just wanted to watch him got into trouble. Why does those magicians from the Magic Association want to enter City A base? Arnold frowned. The relationship between City A base and the Magic Association was a bit delicate. Asking to enter at this juncture, what are they planning? He couldn't help but thinking in the worst direction because everything is possible. "They're here to exchange for resources," Reuben quickly explained before Arnold could imagine countless crooked ideas. After all, their impression of the magicians from the Magic Association was not very good. Though, the first thing that appeared in their mind was the image of those people dancing around and singing in front of the magic beasts. "Exchange of resources?" Samuel repeated and frowned. "I don't think that they're lacking in resources at all." The magicians from the Magic Association had their own resource channels, and it was impossible for the Magic Association not to give benefits to their members. Otherwise, people would rather join the officials' institution or even the military in order to get the chance to obtain the higher-level meditation technique. The lower-ranked meditation technique could actually be used by their specific profession at any rank. But their effectivity was not very good. That was why they would exchange for a higher-ranked meditation technique, or in other words, the second volume of the meditation technique. Only in this way could they ensure that their speed would remain stable. All returnees have at least rank 7 meditation technique of their profession. Or some people, like Samuel, had the meditation technique up to rank 9 because he was qualified to see it before he died. Ria herself also has the meditation technique up to rank 9 because she exchanged it before her death and learned those techniques. They were simply prepared because their instincts were telling them that they might need it. So even though their heart was bleeding because of the amount of money or contribution points that they had to pay, they still did it. And it turned out that they were right. If they hadn't exchanged for the meditation technique, it was estimated that their improvement speed would slow down considerably after they reached rank 7 or above. They want the space storage scroll, Ruben said calmly. City A base could be said to be the place with the highest number of space storage scrolls aside from the capital city. The main reason is because Mr. Jones trained some people who had some talent to be Runemaster, and these people could obtain a large number of contribution points through their efforts. The status of Runemaster was also very high, which attracted a lot of people to try. In this way, a lot of lower-ranked Runemaster was born in City A base. Another reason is because Ruben himself was also practicing to make the space storage scroll for a period of time. Since his rank was higher than most Runemaster, he could make the higher-level space storage scrolls, which was also sold in City A base. But because of their limited number, people had to either make reservation or it was only sold in small circle. Samuel saw Ruben's look and understood that what these magicians from the Magic Association wanted was precisely the higher-ranked space storage scroll. If it was just the rank 1 space storage scroll, the capital city sold a lot of them. But rank 2 or even rank 3 space storage scrolls were hard to obtain, and only City A base could supply them in a large number. What makes them think that I'm willing to sell it to them? Samuel asked with a sneer. The magicians from the Magic Association were thinking too highly of themselves. Or they thought that Samuel is such a kind-hearted man. If he was so kind, he wouldn't have been dubbed as a black-hearted businessman for so many years. How many people had scolded him behind their backs? Samuel has never been so kind. I think they're trying their luck, and your father asks you to go there and help him to deal with them. They're currently being held in the temporary reception room near the gate, Ruben said as he checked his phone. The last message was still from Mr. Jones, who was asking Ruben to pick up Samuel as soon as possible. No wonder father didn't go home yesterday. Sometimes, Mr. Jones would stay in the room in his office to rest because of the large workload. Their home was not that far away from his office, but it was still not very safe to walk around at night. Because of this, there was still a room prepared there. Considering his father's recent workload, Samuel was not surprised that Mr. Jones didn't come back last night. Anyway, shall we go now? Ruben looked at Ria and Amelia, who had somehow started talking about other niche magic scrolls. Ria knew thousands of magic scrolls and could even innovate on the spot to make some modification. So even if Amelia were to ask some kind of strange magic scroll, she would be able to come up with it on the spot. Wait a moment, Samuel replied, and then decided to prepare more coffee to be put into his space storage scroll. Even if the caffeine effect on him was almost none, but the taste was pretty good for his tongue. He was already used to drinking coffee for so many years, and it was still comfortable. Seeing Samuel's gentle gaze when he looked at Ria, Ruben could only shut his mouth. Forget it. He also didn't dare to urge his teacher. Meeting those magicians from the Magic Association was not exactly an urgent matter anyway. Arnold saw their performance and turned his body around, his shoulders shaking as he was restraining his laughter. It was really hilarious. On the other side, Ria and Amelia were still busy discussing about the magic scroll that Amelia was requesting for Ria to make. Magic scroll can be of any shapes, right? Is it possible for you to make some accessories like bracelet or necklace? Amelia asked curiously. Ria frowned and then shook her head. I'll need the help of a weapon refiner to shape some things. After that, the engraving might also need to be accompanied by them. Is it not possible? Amelia was a bit disappointed. There will be negotiation with the weapon refiner from Continent W in the future, so we can try to talk about it. But you should wait until the matter of the magic beast's tide was over, Ria said after a moment of contemplation. They were planning to have a talk with the other party in the future, but Ria had long decided to leave the matter of negotiation to Samuel. If it was in his hand, she was absolutely sure that Samuel would definitely be able to gain the greatest benefit for them. So she didn't plan to get involved. It was enough to know the end result afterwards. Then the jade pendants that you made before? The shape is simple and all I need to do is to engrave the runes, Ria replied helplessly. And because of that, what I can make is also limited. If Amelia wanted her to create a complicated ones in such a small shape, Ria had to say that she couldn't do it. Even her own formation plate was only slightly smaller than her palm. If it was not because of the space storage scroll, that thing was actually not that convenient to bring around. Is that so? Amelia sounded disappointed. Perhaps you want other things? Ria asked while tilting her head, trying to think of something that would suit Amelia well. For example? Armor. Ria replied. Huh? Can you make it? Not really. I'm only engraving the runes into the robes before. Tell me more. Took a long time before Amelia was satisfied. Ria also promised to make more robes and even planned to let Reuben be the one to make it. Anyway, it can be called practice. Reuben, who inexplicably obtained more things to do, he felt that his boss and his teacher were both really annoying. Didn't they know that he already have a lot of things to do? But no matter how much he complained in his mind, Reuben still agreed to Ria's request and said that he would make the arrangement. And then they went over to see the magicians from the Magic Association and Mr. Jones. Why are you following us? Reuben looked at Amelia speechlessly. He thought that Amelia had no interest in these things. I'm bored and I have nothing better to do, Amelia replied without hesitation. She narrowed her eyes. What? Can't I watch you clashing against those magicians from the Magic Association? Reuben, if possible, they would try to resolve this in civilized manner instead of fighting. But no matter how much Reuben complained in his mind, he could only let Amelia follow them to see the magicians from the Magic Association. And when they reached the location, Ria's eyes immediately landed on the woman who were following the group of magicians from the Magic Association. Her eyes narrowed slightly when she saw the other party. Sierra. Amelia frowned. Even though they had heard that Sierra was staying with the magicians from the Magic Association, they didn't expect that the other party would be following them so closely like this. Does the magicians from the Magic Association allow her to be so willful? Amelia didn't understand. But Ria thought about the Turin family, whom she had met when she was going to the crack some time ago, and guessed that the Turin family's background was really deep. Even after the world's change, they still managed to latch onto the magicians from the Magic Association and managed to reach high enough position. After all, without the Turin family's background, Sierra wouldn't be able to be so free when following these magicians from the Magic Association. It was really troublesome. Ria's fingers itched for a moment before she calmed down. But it seems that I'm a bit too soft-hearted after coming back to the Green Planet. If this was that world, Ria was absolutely sure that she would not hesitate to fight back. Because she had nothing to lose in that world and didn't care about those people's retaliation. When she had nothing, it was these people who were scared, because they knew that they had to fight until the bitter end. Father! Samuel called out to his father after entering the meeting room. He naturally saw Sierra and the other magicians from the Magic Association, but he had no interest to greet them. Whenever they saw him, they would always make trouble. Samuel, you're here? Mr. Jones nodded to his son and then glanced at the representative from the magicians from the Magic Association. The higher-ranked magic scrolls are not enough for internal consumption, but if you are truly willing to pay, I'm sure my son is willing to talk with you. The magicians from the Magic Association felt their expression turn stiff. Negotiate with Samuel? They have long experienced what it meant to be beaten without being able to speak, and Samuel was an expert in terms of negotiation. The other magicians from the Magic Association had long warned them that they should try to finish the deal before Samuel's return. After all, the magic beast's tide caused Samuel to leave Cydia base. This could be said to be their best chance. But now, well, it was really miserable. So the others silently watched as the magicians from the Magic Association were forced to make concession after concession under Samuel's pressing. Sometimes, I really feel pity for those magicians from the Magic Association for offending my brother, Amelia whispered. Ria glanced at Amelia's gloating smile and rolled her eyes in secret. If Amelia didn't show such an obvious satisfied expression, she would be more willing to believe the other party. Why do I have to be here, Reuben? Ria turned to look at Reuben. Actually, you don't have to be here. Reuben sighed. Just leave this to Samuel? Ria nodded and decided to wait outside. Their conversation was too fast and Ria could barely understand what Samuel was planning when he opened his lion mouth. TSK. 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 The magicians from the Magic Association will definitely suffer in Samuel's hand. Perhaps not physically, but they had to bleed a lot. Otherwise, it would be impossible to satisfy Samuel. Sister. Ria's face darkened when she heard Sierra's words not long after she entered the waiting room. Beside her, Amelia's expression was cold, and she glared at Sierra while Arnold stayed on the side. Reuben was not here because he had to support Samuel in his dealing with the magicians from the Magic Association. No matter what, Reuben is still Samuel's assistant. Sierra flinched for a moment when she saw Amelia's thick killing intent. This was the first time Sierra saw Amelia again after the other party had experienced so much. And Amelia was no longer the sweet and innocent young miss of the Jones family. In the past, no matter how much Amelia was dissatisfied with things, she will not look threatening. After all, she was just a pampered young miss of the Jones family and never actually came into contact with dangerous things. Her family will never allow it. But after the world changed and she was forced to train, Amelia had to fight countless life and death's battle. Not only that, the incident with her cousin made Amelia even more determined to become stronger. She went out of the base on her own initiative to fight against countless magic beasts and honed her body to the fullest. All for the sake of getting stronger. So while Amelia still looked the sweet and coquettish in front of her family and close friends, she became bone-chilling cold when she was facing her enemies. The killing intent was formed from killing real magic beasts in the past year. It was usually restrained and not visible. But now, it was all unleashed in front of Sierra without hesitation. Even though Sierra is basically a demonic magician, but she was also a sheltered little princess. Many of her resources were something that was given to her after she schemed and after knowing her mother's relationship with the magicians from the Magic Association. She has been pampered. How could she compare with someone who had bet with her life on countless life and death's battle? Thus, Sierra froze when facing Amelia's killing intent. Ria naturally sensed Amelia's hostility and patted the other party's hand to let Amelia restrain herself. As someone who had killed countless magic beasts and even human beings in that world. While Ria would not actively hunt other people because she had no reason to, she will naturally kill others when necessary. Especially if they tried to kill her. In that world, only the strongest fist can be recognized and Ria didn't want to die, so she had to kill. But in this world, partial laws and so on still existed, making it difficult for her to truly abandon all rules. The rules were restricting them, yet at the same time it also protected them. It was also because of this that Ria was still willing to follow the rules. And there was no need to truly break up with the magicians from the Magic Association just because of one Sierra. I'm fine. Amelia calmed down as fast as possible. Even though she had trouble controlling her emotions because of her straightforward nature, Amelia still tried her best to do so. It was just that she felt this was extremely difficult to do. Ria blinked her eyes and said coldly to Sierra, "I'm not your sister. Don't go around and claim others as your sister." "What are you saying, sister?" Sierra looked at Ria with her eyes wide open, looking like she was hurt. The people from the magicians from the Magic Association all looked at Sierra's performance calmly, already used to it. Because of the special way to use magic spells, most magicians from the Magic Association had thick skins. They also liked to watch the fun and would not step forward to help others. As for images, what kind of images does they need? The entire world had long known that the magicians from the Magic Association's magic spells were like a joke. Thankfully, those magic spells truly worked when dealing with the magic beasts. Otherwise, these magicians from the Magic Association would never dare to come out and face their relatives anymore. Social death scene is everywhere, and they couldn't exactly do anything about it. Because that was their way of protecting themselves that they had been learning as the magicians from the Magic Association. Whether there were other magic spells, they honestly didn't know. The Magic Association will not provide other magic spells, and many magic spells had to be exchanged with contribution points. So it was difficult for them to truly become strong unless they were exceptionally talented. After all, learning magic spells were not that easy. They need training and so on. "You're my sister and Sierra Tarun. Do you think it's funny to claim yourself as my sister all the time?" Ria cut off Sierra before the other party could start speaking nonsense again. She looked at the other party coldly but still restrained her killing intent. Jumping around like a clown, "What do you actually want, Sierra?" Sierra's expression changed slightly when she heard the word Tarun from Ria. While she and her mother never actually hid her mother's surname, but Sierra didn't think that Ria would mention this surname without any intention. Did she know about the Tarun family's movement? How? Sierra frowned. "What are you talking about? My surname is Taylor. Are you sure that you don't plan to use the surname Tarun?" Ria cut off Sierra's words once more. She didn't bother to be polite with the other party. After all, the Tarun family has a lot of influence in the capital city. Amelia arched her eyebrows and looked at Sierra with some interest. She had never heard about this matter since Ria didn't say it. But it seemed that there was some interesting melons to eat today. Sierra looked at Ria coldly. Now, she was certain that Ria should have heard some information. Even though the internet still existed, it was mostly only used to maintain the forum and the government's website. They couldn't afford to let people mess around with the public resources as they wished. But it was also impossible not to provide the internet. After all, they needed to communicate with others. The matter of the Tarun family should have been internal news in the capital city, but it had spread to City A base. "How did you know?" Sierra asked. "Does it matter?" Ria looked at Sierra back calmly and guessed that Mr. Maria and Mrs. Maria shouldn't have told Sierra about their meeting with her outside the crack at that time. To be honest, Ria was curious whether they would find out her identity as the Runemaster or not. But it seemed that they still didn't manage to guess it. Is it because they're too stupid, or it's because I didn't talk at all at that time? Since Samuel was on the scene, Ria didn't bother confronting Mr. Maria and Mrs. Maria. He could deal with the two of them at the same time, and Ria only needed to wait from the side and cheer. Anyway, she didn't like arguing with others if it was unnecessary. But either way, whether they knew she's the Runemaster or not would not affect Ria's attitude towards Sierra and the others. "Tisk," Sierra sneered, not bothering to keep up her appearance anymore. "Yes, I'm part of the Tarun family, and my treatment there has been very good. I'm now very strong, sister." "Strong?" Ria looked at Sierra with a strange look and scanned the other party from head to toe. She could guess that the Tarun family should have paid the magicians from the Magic Association to give Sierra some resources that will allow her to train. After all, Sierra is a demonic magician, and what she needed the most is the blood from magic beasts. As for blood from other magicians from the Magic Association, it was unlikely for them to give it. They all respected their own privacy in this already torn world and would not be willing to give out their blood to others. Who knows whether Sierra would use it for something else? The reputation of the demonic magicians were not very good, especially after other returnees jumped out one after another to tear open the true and ugly face of Dina, the demonic magician. Just the fact that it was possible for Dina to take over their mana had already made many people refuse to step forward and become a demonic magician. They were afraid. Even though Ria personally felt that Dina would feel that taking over their weak mana was an unnecessary move, but Dina might still do that when she was desperate. It was not impossible. Through using the method of the demonic magician and the resources given by the magicians from the Magic Association, Sierra managed to reach rank 3. But this, is it strong? Ria was seriously doubting it. She could even sense that Sierra's foundation was unstable, and it was obvious that she had only advanced to rank 3. There were even many other magic warriors and others who were already at rank 5 or even rank 6 in City A base. The number of people who reached rank 6 was not many, though. These people were the people whom the base had specifically trained in order to lead the troops in the future when de-aligned with the magic beasts. Not only Ria, even Amelia was looking at Sierra strangely, and then couldn't help but laugh out loud. As a rank 5 magic warrior, Amelia was also sensitive to other people's strength. This was something that she had honed after fighting with many magic beasts outside of City A base. Countless life and death's battle gave her the chance to train and hone her instinct to perfection. And through this, Amelia was absolutely sure that Sierra is weaker than her. She couldn't even make her feel any sense of danger. Since Sierra is even weaker than Amelia, how could she possibly be able to compare with Ria? It was ridiculous. Why are you laughing? Sierra was annoyed. Sierra, what makes you think that you're strong with only being a rank 3 magician? Amelia asked sarcastically. She was already doing a great kindness by not saying demonic magician on the spot. Even though she really wanted to, but she was sure that if she mentioned this matter, the focus will shift. How do you know my strength? Sierra was stunned. She had never exposed her strength, and after working hard during this period of time, Sierra has been having a lot of difficulties. The problem of her kidney that was transplanted twice was not small. After all, Sierra was only trying her luck when she targeted Ria's mother's son. They didn't have any blood relation and the chance of matching was actually not that high. But her luck was actually so good. The kidney matched, and after that, Sierra was able to get the healthy body that she had always wanted. Even though Sierra still felt that it was a pity that she didn't manage to get Ria's kidney, but it was already good enough. The subsequent trouble with Mrs. Thompson resulted in the other party's death. But Sierra was not blamed, because she was well prepared. Moreover, after that incident, Sierra was able to know more about her mother's background and the fact that they were still very strong even after the change of the world. So she didn't hesitate and asked for help to become a magician. With her talent, it would be impossible to become a magician normally. So Mrs. Mireya sent the magicians from the Magic Association to help Sierra and paid them handsomely. For the sake of resources, these magicians from the Magic Association were willing to accept Sierra. And through their help, Sierra was able to advance rapidly. The feeling of getting stronger again and again made Sierra somewhat drunk. She had never imagined before that it would be so easy for her to become a magician. If she had known, she would have started her practice from a long time ago. But it's not too late, even if there were many other people who were stronger than her. But Sierra believed that with her mother's help, she would be able to surpass them soon. This is her conviction. But training was really hard and the pampered Sierra really couldn't adapt for a while. So she simply asked for more resources that could allow her to become stronger without having to practice a lot. To be honest, many magicians from the Magic Association despised her, but they still had to follow the orders, so no one actually said anything. Anyway, no one could refuse the resources that was delivered on their door. If they refused, they would be stupid. Besides, their task was not to protect Sierra but just to accompany her until she came back to the capital city. These magicians from the Magic Association were not qualified to perform protection task. It was sad, but this was the reality. Most of these magicians from the Magic Association were relatively weak and they might not be able to protect themselves. If they were asked to protect others, it was estimated that the mission would be an utter failure. The Turin family didn't want to waste resources either. So their task was simply to accompany Sierra and brought her to the capital city. If Sierra could utilize the resources and become stronger, then it meant she was truly worthy to be part of the Turin family. Otherwise, she's a waste. Mrs. Mireya had purposely left Sierra with Mr. Taylor when she headed to the capital city to find the Turin family. Because she knew that even if the Turin family was still relatively strong, it was not that easy to protect Sierra. This could be said to be a test for Sierra. If Sierra could survive outside and came back safely, then she would be truly qualified to practice as part of the Turin family. Unfortunately, Sierra never realized it. She just felt that since she's part of the Turin family, these magicians from the Magic Association had to listen to her. After this, she would go back and reunite with the members of the Turin family, reaching the peak of her life. Sierra felt elated just thinking about it. But right now, she just wanted to show off. It was just, things didn't go on the way she wanted. Shouldn't the others fear and adore her because of her strength? You're only a rank 3 magicians. Do you really think that as the young miss of the Jones family? I can't surpass you. Amelia had disdain on her face when she looked at Sierra. This woman was even stupider than her own sister. No, the two of them were on the same level. She turned to look at Ria with questions in her eyes. When do you plan to solve her? Amelia felt that letting Sierra be was simply a waste of resources and waste of time. It would be better to throw her away so that she would be able to avoid waste. Ria patted Amelia's hand. You're just relying on your family. Aren't you the same? The two women were glaring at each other and Ria felt somewhat amused. If she had been the one to face Sierra alone, she would have felt worse. But now, she just felt that it was useless to worry too much. There was no point in worrying about this matter. Perhaps because someone is angrier than her that she could calm down so quickly. Don't fight here and made trouble. They wouldn't be happy with you doing that, Ria said as she patted Amelia's hand. It was not worth it to be angry at Sierra. Tisk. Amelia clicked her tongue and moved away. She knew that it was not worth it to be so angry at Sierra, but she just couldn't help it and felt that she should do something. You're just relying on men and others. Don't think that you're any better. Sierra pointed at Ria angrily. Arnold's eyes flashed with a hint of ridicule when he heard Sierra's words. Relying on others? Ria didn't need to rely on anyone to achieve what she wanted because she could get it easily. Yet Sierra didn't seem to realize it. She just thought that everything Ria had was because she could get close to others. How utterly ridiculous. Ria snorted coldly and didn't bother paying attention to Sierra. She didn't really want to waste her time with the other party. But it seemed that Sierra never knew when to stop and kept on provoking her. Does she really think that she would not do anything? Ria's eyes flickered slightly. Clack. The door opened and Samuel came out. Sensing the tense atmosphere outside, he frowned and asked, "Is there anything wrong?" "No, it's fine." Ria shook her head. Amelia pursed her lips and glared in Sierra's direction, as if she hoped that her brother would take action against the other party. She hated Sierra, not only because of Sierra's attitude and treatment towards Ria, but also because this kind of person was extremely annoying. If only looks could kill, Amelia would have killed Sierra several times. Samuel saw his sister's gaze and understood a bit of the things that happened not long ago. But seeing Ria stood up and walking to the door, he understood that she didn't want him to meddle in this matter. He could only give his sister a helpless look and then followed behind Ria. "Brother is useless," Amelia muttered in annoyance. Arnold shook his head helplessly when he heard Amelia's words and then stretched his hand to hold her. "Let's get out too." As they walked outside, Arnold saw Ria sending a message and his eyebrows arched. It seemed that Sierra's happy days would be over soon. Samuel naturally saw the message that Ria sent and knew what she was planning to do. "Do you need help?" Ria's fingers stopped typing and she raised her head. "There's no need to bother you for such a small matter, Sam." It was not known since when, but the two of them basically called each other with their nicknames directly. In any case, they have grown closer ever since they confirmed their relationship and could ask for things directly from each other when it was necessary. But most of the times, they still have their own lives that didn't have any interaction with the other party. "All right," Samuel didn't insist. Anyway, based on Ria's plan, it would be easy for her to solve this matter. Amelia stepped forward from the back and looked at the message that Ria sent out. Her eyes widened in disbelief. Are you not afraid that they will trace it back to you? If that were to happen, then things wouldn't be good for Ria." "How could it be?" Ria chuckled. "Do you forget what I do before, Mel? You're a student." "Ria." Seeing Ria's look, Amelia smiled sheepishly and then asked, "Making programs?" "That's one." Ria turned off the phone and then flames ablaze from her hand, directly disintegrating the entire phone into ashes. "How could I leave evidences around? This is not my phone in the first place." And she didn't really give instruction to others. At most, she was only giving information out. "Awesome." Amelia raised her thumbs up. "Do you know that you're still in front of the real leader of City A base?" Arnold was amused when he saw these two fearless girls. They didn't seem to be afraid that Samuel would disagree with their methods. Then again, he doubted that Samuel will disagree with Ria. He had seen how much he doted on her. At least, he will not do anything that would hurt the other party. Ria tilted her head at Samuel and smiled faintly. "Does my action breaks the law, Mr. Leader?" "No." Samuel looked at Ria closely and chuckled. "And there's no use talking with them about laws, because those people didn't care that much either. The laws have been reorganized many times during this period of time, with each bases have their own rules and regulation. He had no time to care about everything all the time." "Okay." Ria smiled and her eyes turned into crescent. Seeing these two people, Amelia suddenly felt that she should not be here but leave directly. The sweet smell was unbearable to look at. When she thought about how her brother was trying hard to chase Ria in the past and looked really awkward, Amelia would feel pity. But now that the two of them have confirmed their relationship, she just wanted to stay as far away as possible. It was really unbearable to watch. Being the third wheel is really unpleasant. Let's go and have fun on our own. Arnold chuckled when he saw Amelia's look. He could guess that she should feel uncomfortable to be here and watched the sweet interaction between Samuel and Ria. While the two of them didn't exactly do anything much, but just looking at them made people feel as if they were purposely scattering flowers and so on. It was truly unbearable to look at. Even Arnold almost felt that he didn't know his old friend anymore when he saw Samuel's appearance. He had changed a lot compared to how he used to be. MHM. Amelia nodded and rubbed Ria's head once more before running away. I'll see you again later, Ria. Ria was stunned for a moment as she looked at Amelia speechlessly. Naughty girl, Ria murmured. Because Ria is shorter than Amelia, the latter often made fun of her jokingly. One of them was the fact that Amelia often rubbed her head, making her hair messy, and then Ria would also mess up Amelia's hair as revenge. The two girls usually scuffle in their dormitory in the past. After all, they didn't want to be looked at by other people when they were making fun of the other. But now they were still outside. Thinking about the past, Ria's lips couldn't help but curl up slightly. No matter how much she had to do when going into that world, it would not change the past that had happened. The time she spent with Amelia could be said to be the rare happy times she has in this world. So seeing the naughty Amelia, Ria only felt refreshed and didn't care too much. Anyway, the two of them being naughty to each other only meant that they still treat each other as their close friends. Who would be so polite to their close friends? I'll teach her a lesson after we get back, Samuel said lightly. He had already sent Sean a training package, and now that brat is training with the military. It was estimated that Sean was busy cursing Samuel loudly right now while being ordered to finish his training by the soldiers. Of course, Samuel would not bother to pay attention to him. His brother did need to practice more. When he checked Sean's progress, he found that this brat has been a bit too lazy lately. No need, Ria chuckled. She'll be happier to practice with Arnold rather than doing your practice. Samuel? Thinking about how Amelia has been running away from home because of his training twice or thrice, Samuel could only sigh. It seemed that he was indeed not a good teacher in the eyes of his sister. As long as Arnold was around, it seemed that Amelia might never lack motivation to become stronger. In a way, this was actually a good thing. Do you want to go back directly? No, I want to check my plants in the research institute, Ria replied. It has been a while since the last time she checked those plants. Samuel thought for a moment and said, I'll accompany you. Your business with the Magic Association is over? Yes, it's done. There'll be a meeting with the other returnees and officials in a few days, but the specific will have to wait until the matter of the cracks have been solved. Ria nodded thoughtfully. It seemed that the continents were finally planning to cooperate together. Ever since Samuel revealed parts of the message that they received when they reached rank 7, this proposal has been submitted. Unfortunately, the officials were still thinking about their own benefits and so on. Samuel was annoyed, and then the earthquake happened. So everything had to be delayed. He used this chance to explain deeply to his father. But the follow-up needed a few days before finalized. During this period of time, he could use it to stay with Ria and probably also try to have a normal date. What date is considered normal? While Samuel and Ria were going on their first normal date, Sierra was still in the waiting room with a gloomy look. She thought that she could show off in front of Ria and made the other party angry. After all, facing Ria over the years, Sierra always hated the other party. It was said that her mother was the third party, thanks to her mother's family background changing the divorce date, so that she would not be seen as an illegitimate child. But Sierra accidentally found out about this during the conflict between her mother and father a few years ago. Ever since then, Sierra's hatred for Ria had doubled, because she didn't want to be reminded at all times that she was actually the child of a mistress. Moreover, Ria's talent in school was very good, and seeing the other party being in the limelight, Sierra only wanted to destroy the other party. If possible, trample her down and never let her rise again in her entire life. Everything has been going well. No one liked Ria in the school, and Sierra always felt proud whenever she saw Ria's gloomy look. An orphan should look like an orphan. But after entering university, things started to change. It was not like she couldn't let someone come to trouble Ria, but they were located in different faculties and the university building was a bit too big. She couldn't spend her entire time monitoring Ria's situation. When she found out, Ria had already developed friendship with Amelia and the other rich girls. After that, trying to make trouble to her has become even more difficult. The Jones family, the Carson family, and even the Summer family, thinking about how easy it was for Ria to be integrated into their circle, Sierra was jealous and felt that she was not worthy. How could an orphan like her be able to get everything? Later on, she has trouble with her kidney and Sierra let her father secretly tested the compatibility between her and Ria. This kind of thing should have consent the person involved, but Sierra didn't want to waste her time and simply let her father use the Taylor family's influence. Seeing how Mr. Taylor agreed right away, Sierra was proud. Look, the one whom their father loves is her and only her. Well, there was also her brother, but he didn't count because the two of them have the same mother while Ria came from different family. Her mentality when facing Ria was naturally different from when she was facing Ciro, her younger brother. Mr. Taylor preferred her younger brother than her, because he wanted him to inherit the family's business. Sierra herself didn't really want to study and would rather enjoy the family's wealth instead, so she never tried to compete with her younger brother. The dividends were enough for her to live comfortably for her entire life. Sierra is happy and content. Besides, who would be willing to fight with her younger brother for the sake of the family's position? She was not so bored that she would do something like that. Getting something for nothing is more fragrant. And everything should have gone well, but who would have thought that Ria would refuse her mother's request so simply and neatly? So impolite. A poor person without background. It was so easy for the Taylor family to make trouble if they wanted to. Unfortunately, the family's business has trouble and Mr. Taylor didn't have time to manage this matter. Besides, the kidneys transplantation matter was not exactly urgent for Sierra at that time, and it was only a considered alternative they could take. Sierra just made trouble because she wanted to see Ria in trouble. Later on, she found out from her mother that Ria is not poor. She managed to earn money by herself and brought herself out of poverty when she could only rely on scholarship. How could it be possible? Sierra couldn't accept it. In her opinion, someone like Ria should stay at the bottom all the time and could only watch her with envy. Even though Ria actually never truly envied Sierra because she had long understood her position in her family, but Sierra always imagined things this way and wanted to stand above the other party. But the Jones family even stepped forward. Sierra was jealous. She couldn't understand how Ria could get the attention of so many people and be taken care of by them. On the other hand, she couldn't get it. It was not fair. Later on, the world was suddenly in chaos and her beautiful and comfortable life was gone. This made Sierra felt that she was wronged and that things shouldn't have come to this point. Why does those magic beasts have to appear? She just wanted a comfortable and easy life. A life where she's superior to everyone around her with no one could possibly defy her. Especially the person whom she hated the most. But fate is really cruel. In the early stages where the magic beasts had only started to appear, Sierra's life could be said to be extremely difficult. No one was willing to step forward to help her, and the only thing that she could do was to cry and cry even louder. Because she's scared. She has no talent and didn't want to work hard, but she wanted to become stronger and let these magic beasts suffer. Watching Ria was still able to live comfortably during this period of time made Sierra almost mad with jealousy. She couldn't accept it. Why could the other party live so well while she was suffering so much like this? So she tried to come to Ria. Anyway, the other party is her half-sister. So why can't she ask for Ria's help so that her own life could be more comfortable? Sierra tried it. Unfortunately, she was thinking too highly of herself because Ria was not even willing to spare her a glance. No matter what method she used to attract her attention or trying to make her help, Ria remained unmoved. She was so cold-blooded. Sierra was unhappy. Series of things happened later that made her forget about Ria and focused on getting a new kidney for herself. After all, having to go to the hospital every single time made Sierra annoyed. It was terrible, tiring, and more importantly, expensive. Even if her father used to be the president of a business empire, it seemed to have become utterly useless ever since the change of the world. Sierra could only rely on herself if she wanted to get ahead. So she did. Tricking Ria's half-brother, Sierra felt amused when she thought of the boy's trusting expression and stupidity. He was not much better than her, also an illegitimate child, yet he acted so righteously. What Sierra didn't know was that based on the boy's age, it was impossible for him to be an illegitimate child. Mrs. Thompson had already married Mr. Thompson. Unfortunately, Sierra never tried to inquire this. And it was also this matter that eventually pulled Sierra to drag the man to die and Mrs. Thompson eventually lose her life. The dispute lasted for a long time, and because Sierra had already made the boy sign the agreement, Mr. Thompson couldn't do anything but to watch. Seeing his helpless look, Sierra only sneered. She didn't care about their life and death in the slightest bit. In her opinion, it didn't matter whether they managed to survive or not because she only had to make sure that she could live well. Now that she had recovered, she didn't have to worry about her kidney. She also didn't have to go to hospital so frequently anymore. Sierra was elated. Once her physical problem has been solved, now the next problem was the matter of strength. Her physical talent and her talent as magician was extremely low. So low that it was actually frustrating. But talent is innate and not something that could be changed at will. Sierra had heard that there were some rare treasures that could change one's talent, but so far, none has been found. Only these returnees knew about those things, and it didn't exist on the green planet. Sierra was once angry at those returnees for not sharing the information when they needed it the most. Then again, she didn't care whether they could find it or not because she felt that these returnees should have gifted their entire knowledge to the base. Only in this way would it be fair for everyone. Just when Sierra was full of indignation, she finally received communication from her mother, allowing her to know that the Turin family had developed another base and had a branch in the capital city. The branch in the capital city allowed them to be acquainted with the officials and also the Magic Association. With their current connection, it would not be a problem to bring Sierra to their base. But before that, Sierra had to pass by the capital city to pick up some other people who will also come back to their base. Sierra is happy. In that case, can I learn magic spells? Her mother arranged for someone to send her meditation method that was suitable for their family along with a lot of resources. Unfortunately, Sierra's talent was extremely bad. So Mrs. Mireya told Sierra to become a demonic magician instead, and then used the resources to stabilize her rank. Even though the paths were different, the resources they needed was actually quite similar to each other. Besides, the Turin family had also sent some additional resources to Sierra when they heard about her situation in City A base. This made Sierra ecstatic. With these resources, she didn't have to work hard and only need to eat and meditate for a short period of time. But the result she could achieve would be several times that of others. The feeling of getting stronger made Sierra addicted. Who wouldn't like it? Getting stronger day by day and watched those who used to mock her fell in despair and hatred made Sierra excited. She loved seeing other people fail and suffer. It was pleasing to the eyes. These days, Sierra had gotten used to the praise and envy that other people showed when they saw her. This made her float. She was so delighted by this matter that she even wanted to scream it out loud. Even the magicians from the Magic Association respected her and will escort her to her mother's place. How could other people get the same treatment as hers? Just thinking about it made Sierra trembled in excitement. But when Sierra faced Ria again and wanted to see the other party's face showed envy, jealousy, or anything like that, she failed. So miserably at that. This made Sierra very unwilling. The magicians from the Magic Association didn't even dare to contradict her. So how could Ria dare? Tell me, is it possible to make decision in City A base? Sierra asked coldly. She really wanted to kill the other party, but she also knew that it was not that easy for her to make a move in City A base. After all, she was about to be kicked out of City A base for some reasons. Even though Sierra had heard that demonic magicians were not accepted in ordinary bases, she didn't care too much. She believed that her mother's influence would be enough for her to stay in City Base, so she only needed to focus on her own practice and live comfortably. With her lazy nature, how could it be possible for her to practice a lot every single day? It was already good enough for her to spend a few hours to practice each week. After all, the training method of demonic magicians relied more on resources, and meditation was nothing more than an attempt to eliminate the influence from the magic beast's blood that they consumed. For most of them, it was not completely necessary. Miss Sierra, the Magic Association couldn't have the final say in City Base. One of the magicians from the Magic Association said patiently. To be honest, he was already fed up with Sierra's willfulness during this period of time. When they heard Mrs. Mireya's description, they thought that they would pick up a sweet and innocent girl from Turin family who was left behind in City Base, along with Mrs. Mireya's husband. But who would have thought that Sierra was such a B****starred that would make these magicians from the Magic Association felt annoyed. Many of them didn't like her. People who have trained to above rank 4 would have increased senses, including magicians. So even though these magicians from the Magic Association were not the strongest, they could still sense that Sierra was full of hypocrisy. When she cried, they could sense the malice. When she begged, they could sense that she was full of disdain. When she was silent, they could sense the deep resentment. Not all magicians from the Magic Association could sense it, but those who were the strongest among them all could sense it. This made them unwilling to stay close to Sierra in fear that they would be implicated. After all, they knew very well that the Magic Associations would never help them if they had a conflict with the young miss of the Turin family. The magicians from the Magic Association were annoyed. But in this world, only the strong could have a say. These magicians from the Magic Association could only stay silent and did nothing. They had nothing to say and could only follow the order given to them, because they all knew that if they dared to fight back, what awaited them would be their death. The magicians from the Magic Association knew that they have no status. The Magic Association could barely shelter them. As for the rest, they had to work hard on their own, or they would not be able to leave their names in this cruel world. You're so useless. Sierra's head throbbed and she rubbed her forehead. To be honest, ever since she became demonic magician, Sierra realized that her control over her emotion had gotten worse and worse. It was to the point that she wondered if this would have any effect for her future promotions. But the magicians from the Magic Association had given her some special medicine that could help her to stabilize her mind. Could be said that the magicians from the Magic Association were well prepared. From the moment Dina exposed the fact that she's a demonic magician to the whole world, it was obvious that many people were prepared to face her and knew how to make sure these demonic magicians would not be out of control. After all, demonic magicians were also very strong. If they could master a safer method of promotions, many people will willingly take part in it. Miss Sierra, we don't have much time. The magicians from the Magic Association had gotten used to ignore Sierra's harsh words. It was rare to see demonic magician able to control their emotions anyway. Even though these magicians from the Magic Association were a bit afraid that Sierra would kill them, but they also knew that as long as they were not alone, Sierra is too weak to defeat them. Yes, she's too weak. When these magicians from the Magic Association first heard that Sierra is a demonic magician, they did fear her. What if she chose to kill them and then took their mana for her own improvement? So they didn't dare to get close. But after a few days of knowing Sierra, these magicians from the Magic Association understood why they were asked to escort her. Because Sierra is weak. There's no other magicians who were weaker than her. Even the weak magicians from the Magic Association who didn't have much resources were stronger than her. This made them look at Sierra without much respect. It was truly a little princess of a big family. In this kind of environment, someone so weak and pampered could still survive. This made most people unable to appreciate Sierra and would not bother to treat her that well. But it's late. Sierra frowned. She didn't want to leave City Base that soon. There were too many magic beasts outside and her own fighting capabilities were actually very weak. Without the magicians from the Magic Association around her, Sierra was absolutely sure that she wouldn't have gotten far from City Base. As much as Sierra didn't want to acknowledge her weakness, she didn't want to die. The magicians from the Magic Association were getting impatient. City A base has already finished their negotiation and naturally, we're not allowed to stay here anymore. The conflict between the Magic Association and City A base were not a secret, though. The magicians from the Magic Association felt that it was not worth it. Because most magicians from the Magic Association all knew that the reason why City A base had conflict with City A base was because of Samuel and Murin. These two people fought against each other, and when Murin tried to control the magic beasts, he did it to attack Samuel. How could Samuel not be angry? The two returnees were not able to hold themselves back and fought against each other. Due to their status, the relationship between Magic Association and City A base worsened even worse afterwards. The magicians from the Magic Association had heard about this incident, but since the Magic Association was still supporting Murin, it was naturally impossible for them to say anything. Most magicians from the Magic Association didn't have any background. They came to the Magic Association because they wanted to find a powerful background for themselves, which would allow them to become stronger and also have a better place in this world. Unfortunately, the Magic Association could only give them the basic environment. They could only have the chance to study and become magicians from the Magic Association. As for how far they could go, that would depend on their own talents and ability. When talking about this, every magicians from the Magic Association would have their own opinion. But one thing for sure, those who are talented will definitely obtain preferential treatment and would be able to advance smoothly as the magicians from the Magic Association. Tisk! Sierra rubbed her forehead and bit her tongue before she spoke again. It's really terrifying to lose my emotions so frequently. In the past, she has always disguised herself well as the young miss of the Taylor family. Even though she knew her family's history, she would never let anyone say that she's the illegitimate child. Because Sierra felt that her mother was not wrong. Since she was not wrong, why are there so many people claiming that her mother was wrong and said that she had to be punished? Sierra hated people who looked down on her. I don't want to leave. You have no right to force me to leave. If you don't leave, we wouldn't mind sending you away on our own. Before Sierra could finish speaking, a cold voice had already interrupted her. Sierra frowned and raised her head only to see Ruben standing there coldly. Ruben is different from the magicians from the Magic Association. He might be considered a magician, but he only learned a few magic spells from Ria and didn't learn it from the Magic Association. So even if the magicians from the Magic Association wanted to recruit him, he will refuse vehemently. The magicians from the Magic Association had never cultivated him, so why should he go there? It was his master or teacher who taught him many things, and Ruben would not be such an ungrateful person. You dare to make a move in front of the magicians from the Magic Association? Sierra asked back with a frown. Does City A base dared to make enemies with all the magicians from the Magic Association? In Continent Z, the Magic Association has high position and not many expel dared to mess around with them. The magicians from the Magic Association might not be very strong on average, but there were many people who wanted to be part of the Magic Association. Their reason was simply because they believed their talent would be enough for them to become magicians from the Magic Association. As for fame and pride, forget it. Survival is the highest priority. What was loss of face compared to being able to become stronger and survive for a long time? Why not? Ruben chuckled and tapped his hand. A few magic scrolls appeared in his hand, ready to be activated at any moment. Upon seeing this, the magicians from the Magic Association were stunned and quickly on guard. They all knew that City A base has a few Runemasters. Thanks to the returnee Runemaster staying in City A base, there were many people who learned to become Runemaster through her and had improved City A base's combat abilities rapidly. It wouldn't be so easy to deal with them. Miss, we have to go. The magicians from the Magic Association pulled Sierra away. I'm not afraid, Anne. If you want to, you have to fight on your own. The magicians from the Magic Association interrupted before Sierra could finish speaking. None of them were willing to fight here, and if Sierra really wanted to fight, they would leave. You! My mother told you to protect me. Sierra pointed at these magicians from the Magic Association in anger. It's escort and not protection. One of the magicians from the Magic Association corrected. What's the difference? Sierra asked back, clearly not satisfied with these magicians from the Magic Association's actions. They should have sided with her and fought with these people from Cydia Base. Why do they have to be a coward? Of course it's different. We don't have to protect you if you take the initiative to cause trouble. One of the magicians from the Magic Association said without hesitation. He didn't like Sierra, and if she continued to drag them down, he would rather fail this missions. Anyway, the punishment of failure is just that they couldn't get the remaining reward from the Turn family. These magicians from the Magic Association were fearless. The Turn family has some influence in the Magic Association, but the Magic Association didn't belong to the Turn family. Heh! Reuben chuckled when he saw Sierra's face turned red and black in anger. It was hilarious to see this selfish and righteous woman trying to control the magicians from the Magic Association only to have it all backfire. The magicians from the Magic Association were not tools who will follow orders blindly and will naturally not listen to Sierra's words. What are you laughing at? Sierra was angry and quickly turned to look at Reuben in anger. Don't meddle in my business. I don't want to meddle either, but if you want to attack Cydia Base, I think that the negotiation before can be taken back, Reuben said calmly. He was present when Samuel was making the deal with the magicians from the Magic Association not long ago. Even though the deal was not that much, but Cydia Base was still willing to give some space magic scrolls to these magicians from the Magic Association. After all, it would be better to help humans to survive together. But it doesn't mean that Cydia Base couldn't take it back. These magicians from the Magic Association had already bled a lot during the agreement with Samuel. As Samuel's assistant, Reuben only wanted to say that whoever Samuel targeted was really miserable. Controlling the information and knowing the needs of the magicians from the Magic Association very well, Samuel made sure that they would obtain the highest benefit without hesitation. With the resources exchanged from the magicians from the Magic Association, it was estimated that Cydia Base will be able to develop rapidly in the next period of time. It was very comfortable. As for the magicians from the Magic Association, haha, Reuben will just lit a candle for them since they were indeed a bit pitiful. We didn't mean that, and Sierra couldn't represent the Magic Association. One of the magicians from the Magic Association quickly said, "What a joke." Sierra was not even member of the Magic Association, and it was thanks to the Turin family that she could mingle between the magicians from the Magic Association. If they had to let Sierra represent them, then they were extremely stupid. With Sierra's brain, what awaited them would be nothing more than destruction. These magicians from the Magic Association didn't want such a thing to happen. They didn't want to be brought down just because of Sierra. You, miss, please be quiet. These magicians from the Magic Association were already at the limit of their patience. Don't try to control me, you. Wood, I need more wood. Appear in front of me and control the enemies in my sight, oh wood. I want more wood, and I need them to appear and control the enemies, the control woods. One of the magicians from the Magic Association sang very quickly, and roots of woods immediately appeared and held Sierra down. Her eyes widened in disbelief as she didn't think that these people would dare to attack her. How could the Magic Association dare to do that? Sierra didn't want to accept it. But these magicians from the Magic Association were not soft persimmons. After they had been baptized by the battles against magic beasts some time ago, their chanting speed had greatly increased. Even though the song didn't improve much, but they could finish singing in such a short period of time. Thanks to this, other people who listened to their chants actually felt that it was actually quite bearable. They didn't have to suffer from listening to various nonsense chants all the time, because when the speed increased, they felt that they couldn't quite capture the chants of these magicians from the Magic Association. In this way, these magicians from the Magic Association actually gained quite a lot of people's favor. Of course, that was only after their chants have improved. For those who have only learned how to cast magic spells, they would take out their phone and record the beautiful singing, and spread it among their circle of friends, no matter whether it was embarrassing or not. What followed was usually laughter and jokes. Oh, the water of world. I want water that could help me to trap my enemies and block their movements. I don't need to hold them back for long, but as long as I can hold them back, they would not be able to move. Restraining water puddles. The earth is mighty and great. Turn into a container that could hold onto my enemies and held them back. restrain their movements, control their limbs, and hold them back for their destroying the earth. Earth bowl of container. The metal is strong and durable. It can also twist and turns, allowing us to create a new and beautiful shape. Turn into metal ropes and chain, capture the enemies and prevent them from escaping for us is the strongest. Metal chains. At this moment, these magicians from the Magic Association directly used various magic spells that was used to restrain movement on Sierra. These magic spells were not that strong, but it was enough to control Sierra, who was very weak. Ruben saw the scene and his lips twitched. He was holding back control. Because Sierra looked extremely embarrassed right now. Her hair was messy because she was tossed from side to side. There were metal chains on her arms and legs followed by bowl-like ball made of earth that completely covered her palm and feet. And then there were wood twisting and turning around her limbs and body. At this moment, it would not be an exaggeration to call her Dumpling Sierra. Ruben silently clicked his phone to capture the image through the surveillance camera in this room. He planned to send this to Ria. Considering how Sierra and Ria were hostile against each other, he was sure that Ria would be happy to see Sierra in such a condition. She thought that the magicians from the Magic Association would definitely side with her. But these people were actually the one who didn't want Sierra to have conflict with Cydia Base. Because they knew that the Magic Association couldn't make enemies everywhere. Especially after they lost Murin, who was known as the best at fighting large-scale battles with his magic beasts. Now, there were not many powerful magicians from the Magic Association. Let me go! Sierra was almost mad with anger. She thought that these magicians from the Magic Association would listen to her words, but they were more outrageous one after another. How could they dare to use magic spells against her? Oh, the water of world! I want water that could help me to trap my enemies and block their movements. I don't need to hold them back for long, but as long as I can hold them back, they would not be able to move. Restraining water puddles. Splash. Before Sierra could start cursing, the magicians from the Magic Association had already casted another magic spell and blocked Sierra's mouth. They didn't want to listen to Sierra's curses and felt that their ears were cleaner now. Even though they were still in front of other people, these magicians from the Magic Association didn't care that much. Even if Sierra were to lose her image, who cares? It was not more important than their lives. These were the true thoughts from these magicians from the Magic Association. MMPH. Ruben looked at the dumpling Sierra and almost laughed out once more. He felt that these magicians from the Magic Association were truly a talent. They couldn't hurt Sierra because of the order from the Turin family, but there was no restriction from controlling Sierra and preventing her from saying nonsense about the Magic Association in front of others. In this way, Sierra wouldn't be able to do anything. Even if she wanted to, she could only yell and scream in muffled voices thanks to the water magic that blocked her mouth. Will she not suffocate? Someone asked the magicians from the Magic Association with confusion. Does these magicians from the Magic Association so confident that they could control their magic spells so well? If Sierra ended up suffocating to death, Cydia Base would not be willing to bear the reputation of killing. They would definitely show this footage to the Turin family and the Magic Association to clear their names. Don't worry, our magic control is very good. One of the magicians from the Magic Association smiled brightly. Most magicians from the Magic Association didn't have the chance to learn many magic spells because it required a lot of contribution points or exchange of resources. There were not many people who were so capable to learn various magic spells. So the best method for these magicians from the Magic Association to grow would be to increase their magic control through practice. In this way, even the simplest magic spells could be used in a way that maximized their benefits. One had to say that people were very creative. Even if one path was blocked, they could quickly figure out another path in order to achieve their goals. Ruben nodded. It seems that the magicians from the Magic Association have great magic control. No wonder that these magicians from the Magic Association were still able to deal with many magic beasts some time ago. And here Ruben was worrying that the level of these magicians from the Magic Association were too low to fight against the magic beasts. With great magic control, they would be able to work together efficiently to kill magic beasts of higher ranks than them. In this way, These magicians from the Magic Association could get a lot of resources and didn't have to worry about dying. Even though Reuben didn't have good impression of the higher-ups magicians from the Magic Association, most people were actually pretty good. But control alone would not be enough for them to truly fight cross-border levels. Reuben knew very well that many magic beasts were very strong, and even Samuel and Rhea didn't always succeed when fighting against magic beasts above their ranks. Otherwise, those two people wouldn't have fought for such a long time and ended up exhausted some time ago. But Reuben saw that many people have their own survival methods. Even the magicians from the Magic Association were included. "We'll take our leave now." These magicians from the Magic Association gave their farewell and then dragged Sierra out. Even though Sierra was still glaring and struggling, they didn't release their magic spells in the slightest bit and dragged her away. There was no way these magicians from the Magic Association would let Sierra make more trouble for them. It was enough. She had made too many troubles for them. "These magicians from the Magic Association are quite funny," one of the staffs said in amusement. "Clean up the place." Reuben shook his head and waved his hand. He took out his phone and silently sent a message to Rhea. The content? It was naturally the image of Dumpling Sierra being bundled up by the magicians from the Magic Association. TSK. The internal problem between these people were really hilarious. After sending the message, Reuben happily went back and got ready to start his own work. There were still some paperwork that he had to finish. Rhea and Samuel left the meeting room and was heading to the research institute. Her plan was to check on the plants that she left behind. After all, this would be the basic materials to make magic scrolls paper. Ordinary rank 1 magic scroll didn't need special paper and ordinary could work. But if they wanted to make rank 2 or higher magic scrolls, they would need better materials. Otherwise, the runes and formation wouldn't work. This was something that Rhea had already popularized, which was why the Research Institute in various city bases were also planting the trees and also preparing the materials to make rank 2 or above magic scrolls papers. They knew the importance of higher-ranked magic scrolls. But it was not that easy to let the trees grow. After all, what they needed was the wood that would be turned into paper pulp before turning into paper completely. "No one comes here?" Rhea was surprised when she saw the dust accumulated inside the special plot that the Research Institute gave to her. The trees were growing well, and because Rhea left for a long period of time, the tree had completely grown. It was a pleasant surprise for Rhea, who knew that trees' growth period was calculated by years. This was only 1 year, but this tree had grown to be like trees that have been growing for more than 10 years. But what made Rhea surprised more was the fact that no one came here. She had set up formation, but it remained untouched, which meant that no one even dared to come here, much less attacking the trees. "This place belongs to you, and they didn't dare to come in without your permission," Samuel replied as he watched Rhea formed wind magic runes and blew away the accumulated dust. Rhea walked towards the tree and rubbed it happily. Even though this couldn't compare to the few plants in that world, but this is more than enough to make up to rank 6 magic scrolls. She had already reached rank 7, and when she sensed the trees, she was pleasantly surprised that it was as good as the one she grew in her world. This meant that this tree was extremely suitable to be made into magic scrolls paper. As for rank 7 magic scrolls, Rhea actually didn't have much expectation in the first place. There were not many materials on the green planet that could possibly hold the powerful magic power of rank 7 magic scrolls. It was also because of this that Rhea directly used the magic scroll of creation. Anything that it created would be of the same rank as the magic scroll of creation itself. The paper that she made through Magic Scroll of Creation would be able to hold on the formation and runes of a rank 7 magic scroll without any problem. That was simply the best result that she could achieve with the Magic Scroll of Creation. At least, before she reached rank 8, it was the best. "Oh, it's that good?" Samuel was surprised. The paper made by other researchers didn't seem to be of that high rank. "It's different." Rhea shook her head. "The longer you let the trees grow, the better the woods would be. And when it's turned into paper, it would be able to withstand higher-ranked magic formation and runes." She rubbed the tree and felt a bit reluctant to cut it down. After all, if she let it grow, it might be able to grow and become a tree that could hold on the magic power of rank 7 magic scrolls. At that time, she would earn a lot of money. The problem is that this will definitely take a long time. Seeing the conflicted look on Ria's face, Samuel chuckled. You can let the tree grows if you want to. How do you know I want to let the tree grows? Your expression is a bit obvious. Samuel pointed it out and then walked towards the other tree in this plot. There were more than one tree that Ria grew, but only one was big while the others were relatively smaller. And Continent Z didn't lack the paper materials to make rank 2 to rank 3 magic scrolls. As for any 4 magic scrolls, Reuben didn't seem to be able to make it yet, but the other researchers were already preparing the materials needed for him. It seems that everyone is working hard. Ria smiled. Of course. Samuel chuckled. Continent Z is putting a lot of importance to Runemasters. Even though we can't really help you much, but they're trying to let many other people who become Runemasters to be able to have enough resources. He turned to look at Ria solemnly. Don't underestimate these people who have led the entire continent for such a long time. I never underestimate them, Ria replied. Many people were able to excel even before the world changed. They were at the forefront of the world, doing many things that many other people couldn't even dream about and allowed the continent to work well. What they have done over the years was something worthy of praise. Even if there were some rotten apples among them, there were still many officials who were working for the sake of the better continents. Right now, Ria was looking at the tree in front of her and sighed deeply. She was just an ordinary person before, and things like leading the world and so on was so far away from her. She wouldn't be able to do such a thing. It's a good thing that they have formed the complete system. I only need to step forward and continue walking on my path, Ria said quietly. Samuel smiled and nodded. Yes, so if you want to enter the passage, you can go too. The passage? When the third rank 7 appears, it is time for the world to enter the second stage of training, and when the 6th rank 7 appears, if it hadn't reached the year XXXX, the teleportation formation can be used for those who wants to go and explore the world they were about to face in advance. It was the message sent to them when they advanced to rank 7. And Ria knew very well that some returnees were planning to go while some others didn't want to go and just wanted to enter the crack from time to time to get some resources. Even though the strongest magic beasts in the crack was only rank 7 magic beast, it was enough for them. There was no need to risk their lives to enter the extremely dangerous and unknown world. After all, they still treasured their lives very much. Ria raised her head and pursed her lips. You know, she had the plan to go through that teleportation formation. Samuel nodded. Yes, because I'm also planning on going. After receiving that message, Samuel has been thinking. Would being a rank 7 magic warrior be enough? There was still a year's time, and normally, their speed of improvement would not allow them to reach rank 8 in just a mere 1 year. It was also because of this that the returnees were more or less only competing secretly to reach rank 7 but not any higher. Any improvement would take a long time, and there was no guarantee they would be able to reach higher rank anytime soon. The second earthquake meant that the crack below had changed. As for how much it had changed, they didn't know for sure. There were too many magic beasts for them to go in and check on their own. And so far, the cracks were sealed. Together. Yes. Samuel nodded and gave a gentle yet determined smile on his face. He understood that Ria will definitely focus on strength improvement before reaching rank 7. For almost all returnees, they had seen the powerful people from that world and had experienced so much. Who would have time to think about other things? Even if they still socialize with other people because human is basically social creature and that they were about to embark on a lonely path, they would not spend that much time with other people. Most of the time, they would stay alone. So Samuel simply positioned himself in the way that allowed him to accompany Ria the most. Practicing together is the best way. He could see that she was focused on training and gathering resources, so he kept his distance while getting closer bit by bit. During their time in the crack, they have faced several life and deaths crises, seeing each other in various states, yet he felt that his heart continued to beat for Ria. That was when he became a bit bolder. And it was good. Perhaps it was not as romantic as his brother who was chasing after his girlfriend and made great fanfare. But what Samuel could say is that he will be sincere and wholehearted. Good. Ria saw Samuel's look and felt a bit flustered for some reasons. She nodded and looked away, feeling somewhat shy. It was unreasonable. Yet, she couldn't stop the blush on her cheek. His current look was simply too foul. BRRT. Sensing her phone vibrate, Ria arched her eyebrows and took it out. When she was in the crack, her phone couldn't receive any signal, so she was used to toss it far away and completely forget about her phone's existence. After all, the researchers were still working to create workable technology within the crack, but they failed to succeed even after such a long time. Well, Ria didn't have much hope for it in the first place. She took out her phone and seeing that it was from Ruben, she opened the message without hesitation. When she saw the picture sent by Ruben, Ria was stunned. In front of her, she saw Sierra who was bundled up with magic, and there was also a video on the side. The angle showed that this should be surveillance cameras that was placed in the waiting room. "Is there any mission?" Samuel asked when he saw Ria's strange expression. Considering Ria's ability, the bases did request her to do mission from time to time. After all, they needed to use whatever resources were available. A rank 7 Runemaster is definitely a very powerful subject, and if possible, the base will try to let Ria work for them. Of course, they will give her some reward if possible. For this magic beast's tide this time, Ria was not given any reward from the government, but any magic beasts she killed would belong to her. They would not take part in it in the slightest bit. This has always been the rule. Though, for those who lived in some bases, they still have to pay a portion of what they hunted to the base as taxes and so on. "No, it's just a very interesting picture from Ruben," Ria replied and showed her phone to Samuel. She could guess why Ruben sent this picture to her. He must have thought that it was very interesting to see Sierra in such a condition when she was so arrogant not long ago. She kept on a hypocritical look and then turned arrogant, but these magicians from the Magic Association were still tolerating her. To be honest, Ria was also amazed at their patience and willingness to listen to Sierra's nonsense. If it was her, she wouldn't be able to help it but beat Sierra up. As it turned out, these magicians from the Magic Association were not that patient, and when Sierra crossed the line, they still dared to make a move. Samuel saw the woman being tied up with various magic spells, and he looked speechless. From the background, he could guess who it is. The magicians from the Magic Association are making a move? Ruben has Dark Element, and the other people in the room would not dare to fight Sierra and the magicians from the Magic Association. So it could only be the magicians from the Magic Association who made a move. It should be. Ria clicked the video and the two of them watched it. Seeing how Sierra became so arrogant and unrestrained, Ria rolled her eyes secretly. She understood very well that Sierra had become like this because of the demonic magician's path that she took. This made Sierra unable to control her emotions well and often leaked out her real thoughts, and her behavior become a bit rough. Dina was still able to control herself because she has been taking this path for 4 years. But many other new demonic magicians were having a hard time controlling themselves. Clearly, Sierra was not an exception. The magicians from the Magic Association are not that bad. Ria appreciated these magicians from the Magic Association who dared to use magic against Sierra. Even though they should be under the strict order from the Turin family and the Magic Association behind them, they were still very brave. Some magicians from the Magic Association are not that bad, but don't expect too much from them, Samuel said lightly. He never had much expectation on these magicians from the Magic Association in the first place. They were mostly useless people whom he didn't want to see in the slightest bit. Well, it's rare to see her so embarrassed. Ria chuckled and kept the picture. When she saw Sierra's mother, she might be able to show this and let her know what kind of daughter she has. Even though Ria felt that the other party might not care about Sierra that much, but it was better than nothing. "Do you want to walk around the research institute?" Samuel changed the conversation. "Is there any open area?" "Yes. I want them to test the golem stone from before." Ria's expression looked helpless. It hadn't grown up yet even after such a long time. The golem stone. It came from the magic beast tied in City J base a few months prior. At that time, Dina told them that she took the giant rock golem king's children, and they should grow up as giant rock golems soon. But as it turned out, time passed for such a long time and Ria saw the stone remained the same. She was a bit doubtful and hoped to borrow the Research Institute's machine to do some tests. Ah, that one. Come with me. Yes. Sierra and the magicians from the Magic Association sighed. Bang! After being thrown out by the magicians from the Magic Association who cooperated together, they were now staying outside of Cydia base. The magicians from the Magic Association had already finished their trade and obtained a few space storage scrolls. Even though what they exchanged was quite a lot, but it was worth it in their eyes. They only have a few space storage scrolls before, and it was difficult to get more because of the lack of capable Runemasters. As for the rest of the agreement, that would have to wait until a more qualified person to come forward and deal with it. These magicians from the Magic Association who had lower ranks didn't have to do it themselves. Right now, they just had to appease Sierra and stopped her from making more trouble. If Sierra were to continue making trouble in Cydia base, they might not even be able to leave Cydia base safely. Splash! What did you do? Sierra was so angry that she wanted to attack right after the magic spell was terminated. Oh mighty Earth, please block the enemies in front of me and stop their attack. I want to see the magnificent ability of the Earth Wall. Bang! Sierra herself had several magic element attribute that she could use after becoming a demonic magician. In a way, the demonic magician would attack in similar way as ordinary magicians. Oh, the water of world. I want water that could help me to trap my enemies and block their movements. I don't need to hold them back for long, but as long as I can hold them back, they would not be able to move. Restraining water puddles. The earth is mighty and great. Turn into a container that could hold onto my enemies and held them back. Restrain their movements, control their limbs, and hold them back for their destroying the earth. Earth bowl of container. The metal is strong and durable. It can also twist and turns, allowing us to create a new and beautiful shape. Turn into metal ropes and chain, capture the enemies and prevent them from escaping for us is the strongest. Metal chains. The next moment, these magicians from the Magic Association started chanting one after another, using the restraining magic that they used before. Sierra turned into Dumpling once again.
Sierra, Eva.
If you want to continue making trouble, we will leave you behind. One of the magicians from the Magic Association said in ruthless tone. I can drop this mission and left without completing it as long as I can provide the evidences that you're not cooperating. Sierra. Indeed. Another magicians from the Magic Association sneered. Don't think too highly of yourself, Miss Sierra. Mrs. Mireya had said from the beginning that if you don't want to cooperate with us, we don't have to listen to your words. Even though these magicians from the Magic Association were acting tough, they all knew deep in their heart that mission failure might also result in her own death. But they didn't want to let Sierra be so proud and trampled on top of them all the time. They also have their own pride. It was absolutely impossible for them to listen to Sierra's words and made trouble with Cydia base just because of her grievances.
Sierra, Eva.
She wanted to curse these magicians from the Magic Association, and her eyes were filled with disbelief. Her mother will never make such an arrangement. Her mother loves her the most. Wait, Mrs. Mireya loved her son the most. Instead of loving Sierra, she always loved Ciro more than her. This was something that Sierra had known a long time ago. TSK. But it didn't meant that these magicians from the Magic Association were right. They were definitely wrong. Sierra couldn't accept that her mother actually allowed them to leave her without finishing the mission. There was no way it could happen. Are you going to let her be tied up like that all the time? One of the magicians from the Magic Association asked when he saw Sierra being dragged forward. They will go to the capital city, and if the Turin family saw Sierra's condition, they might not be happy with them.